There's an important local election to look out for in Grand Rapids. That, of course, is the race for First Ward Commissioner.
Yeah, Grand Rapids First Ward includes the Black Hills neighborhood, portions of Burton Heights, including the Garfield Park neighborhood, with the majority of the district being the city's west side. Julie Dunmeyer spoke with both candidates vying for the seat in Commission Chambers. She joins us live in the newsroom with more. Julie.
Yeah, Josh, both candidates I spoke to say that they're the best for the job, of course, but we're telling you all of this about the First Ward just in case you didn't know. The First Ward has roughly 66,000 people that live there. About half of those people are white. The largest percentage of minority voters are Hispanic, making up 30% of the district.
Reppart.
Both the incumbent candidate,
Robbins,
and the challenger for Grand Rapids First Ward start their interview the same way. This is Kurt Reppart. Reppart works full-time for the city as an elected leader. He's been in office for 5 years. He's a father, a Christian, and lives in the John Ball neighborhood. His top priority is affordable housing in Grand Rapids.
I believe that our city commission is moving in the right direction.
This is Drew Robbins. He's running against Reppart. Robbins is a veteran and a Grand Valley Honors College graduate. He works currently for Gordon Food Services corporate office. Robbins also calls the John Ball neighborhood home, is 27 and a Christian. His top priority is public safety.
From what I've heard, people are just really looking for a new voice and a fresh face on the city commission.
Kurt Reppart would like to finish the work he started on affordable housing in Grand Rapids.
But 52% of Grand Rapids residents are still paying too much for housing based on what the definition of affordability is.
Reppart says he's trying to be part of the solution to that statistic. Part of that, he says, is rolling out the city's affordable housing fund, which he had a hand in creating.
There's something that happens when you have your own apartment that you can lock the door and that you can afford. And so if we think about a sense of safety, if we think about children and their educational achievement, housing impacts everything.
Drew Robbins says he's gone door to door since April and heard one main concern: safe neighborhoods. Robbins is endorsed by the Grand Rapids Police Officers Association, the Grand Rapids Fire Department, the Kent County Sheriff's Department, as well as prior First Ward commissioners from the last half decade.
I think a lot of people feel like, in talking to residents over the course of the summer, that we're kind of pouring money into a bucket with holes.
He wants GRPD officers to undergo more unconscious bias training than they already do, saying the mental health co-response pilot program needs to expand.
It does exist to a certain extent right now, but in the weekends and in the evenings, the police are the mental health response.
Reppart agrees with that sentiment, but says more can be done to surround the police department with resources.
Homeless outreach, mental health co-response, Cure Violence, which is an evidence-based program in the community.
Adding, the police department's funding has never been cut under his leadership.
While I'm really proud of what we've accomplished around public safety for the past 5 years, none of it prevented the killing of Patrick Loyola. So we can't stop. We've got to keep going. We've got to keep asking all of the hard questions.
Stop resisting!
Both candidates offering their candor on the death of Patrick Loyola, an unarmed black man killed by a Grand Rapids police officer in early April.
The death of Patrick Loyola was beyond tragic. And I respect our county prosecutor for making the decision he did to charge in the way that he did. And that's not going to bring justice to the situation, but there's a chance for accountability for the family. All the things that we've done didn't prevent it, and we've got to do everything that we can so that it doesn't ever happen again.
It was a hard situation. It really is. I mean, it's a tragedy through and through. It clearly was, kind of opened up an old wound within our community. People were obviously very upset, and understandably so. I mean, I absolutely grieve with the Loyola family as well. I think at the end of the day, you're going to have those hard situations. And yes, while I think that there can be some tweaks made to the police department, I just don't think we had to reinvent the wheel.
Both Reppart and Robbins saying some of the best things Grand Rapids has to offer are outside. Robbins saying the efforts to restore the Grand River, specifically throughout downtown, and the park systems are ways to showcase the best of Grand Rapids.
I think that truly is one of the competitive edges that our city has compared to many others.
Reppart saying he wants environmental issues to come with an equity component. Reppart, also a board member of Friends of Grand Rapids Parks.
I'm all for trees and parks, but we really need to turn the corner to addressing the disparities from bad previous environmental policy
Reppart says his focus is on equity in the Lower West Side as well as Black Hills neighborhood.
And that's where most of the low-income people and people of color live in the city. So we've got to start there.
You can continue, we can hear you, but I'm not turning the mic on if you cannot refrain from cursing.
Robbins saying at some point, commission meetings need to start being healthy places for civil discourse, something he says he hopes to bring, as well as a young presence at city meetings.
If anything, I feel bad for the current commissioners because there was no way they could have known that this is what they're signing up for. But at this point, I do.
Reppart says he's got the experience needed in this critical time in Grand Rapids.
I take this job incredibly seriously. I left my job 3 years ago to do this full time. I give it my full-time effort.
Robbins saying he's ready to take the reins.
We need younger people who care about our community, who want to see it thrive, and who are ready to take on that burden of leadership.
Now we're going to have some more information about this race in our web story because I spoke with Drew Robbins about if he has anything to do with SafeGR, if you've gotten their mailers in the mail. They mostly revolve around public safety. It's a group that appears to be campaigning against Reppart. Robbins says he has no idea who these people are and his campaign has no affiliation with SafeGR. Reppart says something similar did happen to him during his first campaign for City Commission, and he condemned that effort. We also have more information about what they have to say over votes regarding ShotSpotter in Grand Rapids, which was quite controversial. It's a centrifugal thing in the SafeGR argument against that. So that information, along with the story that you just saw, is going to be on our website, fox17online.com. Live in the newsroom, Julie Dunmeyer, Fox 17 News.